you want to invite to your next slumber party? Jason, Freddy, Michael, or just maybe the Driller Killer?
Sleep shirts with a flair for horror. Rock it out with Freddy, chill out with Jason, and pig out with Michael. 90 nightmares and some spare to your next slumber party.
Announcing Nighty Nightmares sleep shirts, exclusively available at deaditesondeck.com.
Come on down to the drive-in tonight. Evil Dead chick is screening a slasher double feature. Slasher Fest is here. Bring your popcorn with extra butter, please. Put some soda on ice. Let's go! The blood will flow, the gore will splatter. Forget your stress, nothing else will matter. Except the movies and the memories. Come on down to the drive-in tonight. Evil Dead chick is screening a slasher double feature. Slasher Fest is here. Here. Bring your popcorn with extra butter, please. Put some soda on ice. Let's go! The blood will flow, the gore will splatter. Forget your stress, nothing else will matter. Except the movies and the memories.
Howdy, gang. And I forgot to change my font again. And also, while I'm doing that, for those of you that may have been confused by the intro and saying, I thought she already showed those two movies, I apologize. The thumbnail had the right movies on it, but I forgot to make an intro with the thumbnail for this one. So we are going to be watching Night of the Demons and Happy Hell Night. Okay, so don't worry if you thought that, what's Dana doing? Is she showing different movies or what? Now, I fully expect some people to be in here tonight because, I had somebody put something in the chat about how they were really looking forward to this. The poet said he was looking forward to Night of the Demons, which is going to be the first movie tonight. So, hopefully we'll have some people in here. And I hope there's some good conversation in the chat and all of that. Hey, the poet, I pretty well knew that you'd be in here. I'm hoping our other friend, Gore Freak, that put this chat message in here a little bit earlier. I hope he's in here as well. And I hope we have a lot more people. And I've got my popcorn ready. I've got my zero sugar Mountain Dew, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go with these films. And I'm going to go ahead and, since I'm probably not going to be using the Deadite rating scale, I'm going to go ahead and put the QR code for Deadites on Deck Horror Shop in case, y'all get in the shopping mood while we're watching movies or during the intermission, which, by the way, there is an intermission between the two movies, and I will play an intermission bumper during that time. And I do too, the poet. It never fails. I have to watch it, and I'll probably watch it again, other than doing it for Evil Dead Chick Slasher Fest as well. And speaking of that, some people might say, "Well, Night of the Demons ain't a slasher film, Dana." Well, I don't know. Depends on who you talk to about it. There's plenty of demonic slashing going on in this movie, so I think it fits the bill. And I wanted to do a couple of Halloween movies once we got into the month of October. And of course, tomorrow night's watch along movie is going to be David Cronenberg's Videodrome. That's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a cool movie munchies, or I think it's cool. October the 26th. It will be pre-recorded, but it'll drop at some point on that Sunday. That is the last Sunday before Halloween. And I'll be making Ozzy's October Burrito in honor of Ozzy Osbourne and his love of burritos. So you can look forward to all of that, plus a ton of other regular programming that I do through the week. They're all messed up, and the horror movie rewinds and the VHS overload and celluloid trash and all of those things. So I hope you guys and gals are excited as I am about doing these things. I hope y'all are as excited to watch them as well. Even if you can't, come in live, you can always watch these on the replay. And I appreciate any watches, whether they're live or, after the fact. I appreciate each and every person that takes time out of their day to watch my stuff, whether it's live or not live, right? So keep in mind the QR code for the Deadites on Deck Horror Shop at deaditesondeck.com is up there in the upper left-hand corner. If you get itching to window shop or even to buy something, just take out your phone, use your favorite QR app or your camera in some cases to scan that QR code, and that should give you a URL that will take you directly to my shop site. How can it get any easier, right, folks? Also, I want to remind everybody that I do have a giveaway going on. So far, nobody has taken me up on it, folks. This is a giveaway for new subscribers only right now. I've had a few new subscribers, but so far, nobody has taken me up on entering the giveaway, which, if it comes October 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time and nobody enters, well, we'll just do a trivia contest or a caption contest, and we'll open it up to everybody. And we'll see if I can get any takers, because I got to clean out some movies, folks. So I have I have 3 5-movie prize packs to give away. These are pre-played Blu-rays, no 4Ks, no DVDs. And you don't have to keep all of them. I don't have to know about it. You could, if you like 2 of them and don't much care for the other 3, hey, trade them in for something that you do like, right? So I'm offering free movies, folks. And all you got to do to enter is first subscribe. And you have to allow me to see your channel handle or your screen name. Sorry, folks. But if I'm not able to see it, then I can't compare it with when you comment under the video where I announce the giveaway, and you put your screen name or channel handle and make sure it's the one you subscribed under, because I know people have multiple channels. Okay, because I'll be comparing the new subscribers with the entries. Okay. So we got that going on until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on October 31st. That is Halloween, of course, folks. And then come November 1st, if I have some entries, I will do a live drawing, and I will draw 3 names out of hopefully a plastic pumpkin, because I want to do that for, the Halloween season. And those 3 people will, you won't get your choice. I'll just, I'll draw a name and it'll be the first prize back. I'll draw another name and that'll be the second prize back. I'll draw a third name and that'll be the third prize back. Hey, Gory Tiger. I didn't know if I said anything to you. I was blabbing on and on. So we got a lot of stuff going on. I've got, Ozzy the Wonder Swirl stuff in the works. I have hopefully some more Spooky Dog and Sebastian stuff coming up. I have a ton of new designs that you can have put on t-shirts and tote bags and mouse pads and hats. Plus I have scented candles and blended teas, the Terror Time teas, Booga Booga Bears, Pyro plushies, you name it, just about I have it. So, like I said, during this stream, if you get the itching to spend some of your money on some of my stuff, I would really appreciate it. But that's a great segue into free ways that you can support me in the channel and help me get up into the algorithms of YouTube. And folks, if I don't lose anybody right now, I am 10 away from hitting my next milestone, which is 1,000 subscribers. And if I reach that 1,000 subscribers mark, me and Candace are going to do some really cool cosplay, more than likely on an upcoming episode of Friday Foolish. Yes, we're going to do some more Friday Foolishes. They haven't fallen by the wayside. It's just that me and Candace have been so busy as of late that we need to work out amongst the two of us when we want to do this. But if I get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to do some really cool cosplay. I'm going to be Cheryl from The Evil Dead, and Candace is going to be Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. So if you want to see us do that really cool cosplay, let's get me to 1,000 subscribers. Like I said, I'm 10 away, folks. 10 away. That's not too many. And if I don't lose any, sometimes when I talk about it, it seems like I lose people. And I don't know if it's just YouTube screwing around with me or what it is, because sometimes in a couple of days I get those people back. So I don't know. I don't know what, I don't know what goes on in the internet world. So what are the ways that you can support me in the channel? It won't cost you a dime. One is by subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed and you've kind of been dancing around whether you should subscribe or not, now's a great time with that giveaway going on, right? And you can hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content I've got coming out. You can hit the like button on stuff that you especially like. And if you like it all, heck, hit like on all across the board, folks. All of those things help me immensely, and they won't cost you a dime. Okay. Here's another way. You can share with friends and family members that you think might enjoy the content that I'm putting out. That costs you nothing. That costs them nothing. I appreciate super chats and super stickers and people joining my Patreon and all that stuff. I realize too, though, that not everybody is made out of money, especially in this day and age. And I just always like to remind y'all that there are other ways that you can support me in the channel without spending money. Okay. So I put the channel handle in the chat. Now, for those of you that are in here, the Poet, Gory Tiger, anybody else that might be, watching but maybe isn't in the chat, I have posted the links from YouTube for both of the movies tonight. So if you don't own your own copy and you don't want to go hunt for those links, let me know in the chat, because I'm going to be giving y'all a few minutes to get queued up. I'm going to tell you where I'm queued up at here in just a second. But let me know if I need to repost those here in the chat, okay? If you have your own copy of it, that's groovy. I am using the Scream Factory. This is the 4K release, but it also has a Blu-ray in it, and I can't watch 4Ks back here where my computer's at, so I have to use my Blu-ray drive and use the Blu-rays. So I have mine queued up to where it says Paragon Arts International. It's about 10 seconds in on this Blu-ray. And I'm going to give everybody, a couple of minutes to get queued up if you're going to be watching along with me tonight. And again, we will have a 10 or 15 minute intermission time between this movie and the next movie. You can go run to the restroom or get a refresher on your drink or your food or whatever anytime you want, because I do. Sometimes I have to, go out of the stream and go take a restroom break or get a refresher on my Mountain Dew or whatever. But the intermission also gives you, 10 or 15 minutes where you can, kind of decompress. If you need to decompress, get up, walk around, whatever you need to do before the next movie starts, right? So like I said, I had my popcorn, my buttered popcorn ready. I have my Mountain Dew ready, and in about another minute or so, we're going to get this party started. And if people come in later and they need a timestamp or anything like that, I will be glad to give that to them. I'm not complaining, but I used to have a lot of people that came into these things. And now not so much, but I still like doing it. So I'm still here. I'm still going to do these the first Friday of the month, unless I get stuck working a late Friday at work, in which case I'll have to, push it to the second week or something. So, and I thought I was going to have to work a late Friday originally, but that was before I saw the revised schedule at work. All right. So it is now 7:19. So again, I'm queued up on the Scream Factory Blu-ray to the Paragon Arts International, about 10 seconds in. If y'all need anything, like you don't want to go hunting and looking for the links that I put in the description for the stream, that's fine. Just let me know and I'll be glad to give it to you or give you a timestamp or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and do the countdown, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this first movie. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press play. And we're off and running with our movie. And folks, this is the Kevin Tenney version, the one from 1988 or so, or 87, 1988. And not the remake, because I'm not a fan of the remake, folks. I'm sure Kevin Tenney doesn't mind, but, I prefer this one way, way over the remake. I always did love this animation at the beginning. And again, when I do Evil Dead Chick Slasher Fest, I don't talk quite as much as I do on the watch-alongs. So if you see me getting quiet at any point in time, I'm just taking a pause and probably getting into the movie. And I'm enjoying my popcorn. I will say, again, for those of you that haven't heard me talk about, the AMC movie theater microwave popcorn is some of the best movie popcorn I've ever had. It tastes pretty dang close to the stuff that you get in the theaters. Once again, I really do think this animation at the beginning is pretty cool. And then how it fades into the live action. This is definitely a grouchy old man. He's evidently a sadistic old man, too, we're going to see here. Because we can see he's going to put some razor blades in apples. For you guys, you got a little ass shot there from Judy. We haven't even got to Linnea Quigley, right? Oh, and Jill Teresita also. You notice that Jay says that Halloween's like Christmas to Angela. And that's what people always say about me because I love Halloween so much. That it's like Christmas to Dana. I'd be really pissed at my brother if he was hiding in the closet when I had my top off. Even in 1988, 87, 88, a quarter would be nothing. Yeah, it's a pretty cool mask, and he takes off with it. That looks like an expensive mask, too. And there, speaking of another ass shot, there is Linnea Quigley. There's Amelia Kincaid playing Angela there. I met both her and Linnea Quigley at different times. And they were both really, really nice. I also met Kevin Tenney years ago. He was nice too. I always thought this was funny where She asked them if they have sour balls. These are these creepy cartoons, like vintage cartoons. Of course, he says the fudge logs look like sun-dried poodle turds. Some classic lines in this movie. Jay looks like he's going to be on an episode of Miami Vice. We're soon going to find out that Jay's a real jerk, if you can't tell it already. Here's Jill Teresita going to make her entrance here. And if you're an avid watcher of horror films, Jill Teresita was also in the third Sleepaway Camp entry. So we're going to see that that whole house looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. And I think they did a really good job with this. But actually, this was very close to a busy freeway um, in California. So I think they did a really, really good job with this because it does literally look like it's in the middle of nowhere. So keep in mind the talk about an underground stream here because that's going to come into play a little later. So supposedly evil spirits can't cross over running water. So now Angela and Suzanne have arrived, and Stooge. And so the rest of the gang has gathered. So these guys are going to get a good view of Linnea Quigley there. So now they got strobe light to add to things. Okay, you're going to see more of Jay acting like a total jerkhead here. Because he's dancing with Judy, and then when Suzanne comes around, he loses all interest in Judy. That would be my clue to drop him like a bad habit. So I don't know how much research Kevin Tenney may have done on, spirits, ghosts, entities of some sort. But I always heard, especially when I went to Waverly Hills here in Louisville, which is supposed to be one of those really haunted places, that when there's heavy paranormal activity in a place, that it doesn't matter if you charge up your batteries in anything, cameras or anything, that it will run down really quickly. And that happened to me when I was on a half night investigation, where they let you pretty much go to all different places in Waverly Hills, and they would put you in a guide would take you to a spot and leave your group there for a while so that you could investigate on your own. I found that I had a little mini video camera, I had a digital camera, and I had my phone. And the digital camera and the mini video cam ran down just super quickly. And so then I was just left with my phone to be able to take pictures and video. So they've got a mirror and they're going to do a past life seance. So the mirror went black. And we see a demon reflected. And we also see something that's going to end up happening later. So Helen saw the demon reflection, but nobody else did. I like this image too. I always did like when there's broken glass and you see everybody at different parts in the glass. It's a cool effect. Well, I think we're starting to see some demonic activity here. And this sort of reminds me of how Sam Raimi would film entities in the Evil Dead movies. I'm not saying Kevin Tenney copied off of him or a cinematographer copied off of Sam Raimi. I'm just saying it's similar. So apparently Suzanne has gotten taken over by something here. So Angela's telling them, the coldness, the stink, and the noises are all signs of a demonic infestation. Of course, nobody really believes Angela except for Roger. who I believe his father's a preacher. Yeah, he says his daddy was a preacher, and he says he knows better than to be in here fooling around with this stuff. And Angela's trying to tell him it's not ghost, it's um, demonic. It's the house is possessed, it's not haunted. That line comes out of nowhere. And there's the eat a bowl of fuck line. Um, and that is why I usually say that most of the videos and streams are not for children. But that's a big line. That's a line that always makes people laugh. So Sal is shocked that Suzanne wants to take Stooge with her to look for a bathroom. And then, as if all this stuff wasn't shocking enough, we see Suzanne go over and plan a very passionate kiss on Angela. But it's not a romantic thing, it's a way for the demonic spirits to spread from one person to another. Now things are going to get really bizarre. I remember the first time I saw this, I was like, when Angela starts that bizarre dance, I was like, whoa. And actually, Kevin Tenney's other film was the first movie I ever rented on VHS when my family got a VCR, and that was Witchboard. So, gang, I always bring this up because some people, including myself, sometimes can't stay up real late or they doze off during, watching movies and stuff. I hope I don't do that tonight. But neither one of the movies tonight are very long. In fact, this one, Night of the Demons, is the longer of the two. Um, I believe, yeah, Happy Hell Night is only 87 minutes, I think. Yeah, 87 minutes. But from the little chatter I heard before I did this, um, it seemed like Night of the Demons was, of course, the favorite, which I kind of expected, because Happy Hell Night, I don't think Happy Hell Night is nearly as well known in horror circles, even as this movie is. I don't think that's what Jay has in mind, just holding her, but he's a jerk anyway. So, meanwhile, Helen and Roger are trying to find the gate that they came into, and now it's just a solid brick wall. So now Helen has disappeared. One thing I mean, there's a lot of things that as a horror fan I love about this movie, but the atmosphere is one of the big things. Kevin Tenney really did a good job. He apparently had excellent set designers on this. And I think there's really many things that go into even making low budget horror movies work. You got to have the right atmosphere. You got to have the right actors and actresses. Um, you got to have something that really makes people sit up and take notice of something, whether it's the creatures or monsters or a killer, if it's a human killer. In this case, we're dealing with demons. Um, and I think that they are uniquely displayed. And Steve Johnson did the special effects for this film and many other films. And actually, this is where the romance between he and Linnea Quigley started. They ended up being married for a little while. I don't know how many years, but I love that Judy just pushes Jay off of her. And then he just goes off in a huff. Fine, have it your way. I'm out of here. Now, of course, Judy can't get out of this room. But Dickhead doesn't care. He's going to move on to the next best thing. Meanwhile, Stooge is still waiting to get into the bathroom. And we're going to see a really cool effect right here of Suzanne's face changing. I always thought this was really cool. Her face just seems to stretch. And then it kind of puffs out and sinks in. It's just, I really, really like the effects in this. I just really don't feel like the remake had the creativity that the original did. And some people might disagree with me, and that's okay. Sounds like somebody's got a chainsaw outside somewhere in the neighborhood. This room back here was built onto our house, or it was Steve's house originally, but this room was built on whenever he bought it, and it's not really soundproof as much as the rest of the house is. So here's the start of the bizarre dance that I was talking about a little bit earlier. She's talking about the Day of Atonement and all that, and then and the thing about Amelia Kincaid was she was a dancer already. I think she'd been in some music videos and stuff. I think she was in a Stray Cats music video, if I'm remembering correctly, but she was probably in some others. And this song, I think it's called Stigmata. Um, it may have something else on the in the title, but I do know Stigmata's in the title. But this, to me, this is really, really effective and creepy. And I think a lot of the credit does have to go to Amelia Kincaid. Yeah, Stigmata, Martyr. So it's kind of creepy and sexy at the same time, and Amelia Kincaid just really um, pulls double duty with this by making it creepy and sexy. And the Angela character didn't start out to be a sexy character, but once the demons have, or a demon has inhabited her, all of a sudden she becomes something different than she was. She definitely has a dancer's legs. I'll say that. Of course, Sal tries to warn Stooge here, but he's having none of it. He's, you know, he's a horny guy. He can't help it. He's seeing a piece of tail there, and he's going to go after it. Oh, you don't want to kiss her, dude. This is not going to end well. Apparently, she ripped his tongue out with her new demonic teeth. And this is all I always found these scenes with the character of Suzanne, played by Linnea Quigley. You know, she's drawn on her face, she's drawn a heart with lipstick, and I was like, is everybody here on drugs? And she says, I can't seem to get it right. And then this is going to go into a semi-bizarre scene, into territory that at the time that I first saw this, I was like, I've never seen anything like this. And I never have seen anything in particular like this since. So you see her looking at herself in a piece of glass. And then she's looking at the lipstick. And then she's going to decide to unbutton her dress. Why, we don't know yet. And I'm not sure, but I believe this was after Linnea Quigley had a boob job. Of course, she's got an obvious prosthetic too on, that you can really tell. You couldn't tell so much back in the VHS days, but now in the Blu-ray and the 4K days, you can definitely tell. It's not that they didn't do a good job with the special effects. It's just that when things are so crisp and clear, you just can't help but tell. You can tell that there's a lot of latex and stuff there. So she's drawing down her chest between her breasts. And she's going to draw around the breast. But it's going to get weirder, folks. In fact, what's going to happen looks very painful to me. You know, as I would think any woman would think it will look painful. So she presses that lipstick into her breast, and the finger goes in there too. And it's like, oh. And then old stupid Jay shows up. And he doesn't even like, the dude is stupid. He's either like super horny or something, and he doesn't pay any attention. I'm not sure what that was. I thought maybe Steve was in there. But, oh boy. Okay. Reggie is in here. I don't know how he got in here, but I'm going to go away for just a second, folks. Well, maybe not because Steve's in here. So Angela has just put her hands in the fire too. And Steve's messing with my air back here.
You mean mine?
Well, I thought it was both of ours. Well, gang, I'm going to go away for just a second and I'll be back here in a little bit. But y'all keep watching for those of you that are watching along. Okay, gang, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to get me a little something else to snack on, some chocolate chip cookies. This is another shot I like really well because it almost seems like the demonic angel is just gliding down the hallway. It's also very creepy. Kudos to Amelia Kincaid for allowing herself to be uglied up here. And, she had to have those fake teeth in and all that makeup on. Uh oh. Well, that's what you get, dude. And Linnea Quigley too for having all the makeup and the teeth put in. Hey, again, the poet, you said, what is F? I don't know if you're still typing or. Oh, my favorite Fanta. Um, I think my favorite so far is still the grape. But I think the strawberry runs a close second right now. But maybe if I had been able to get a stronger Chucky's Punch, maybe if I had gotten it at the movie theater where we had the strongest taste, I may have liked that one the best. But right now, it's the grape Fanta, the Megan grape, which I don't know. Um, yeah, I saw your comment that you like the orange, the poet. I think the orange is the only one I haven't had a chance to try. I'm going to try to get that one so I can do a pick your poison taste test for it. Steve was going to get me the orange today. He stopped at Wawa on the way home from work. And he was not able to get the orange. He said he didn't see the orange, but he saw the strawberry, um, the grabber strawberry, apparently, from Black Phone. That scene just a few seconds ago where the severed arm grabbed a hold of Judy's leg, that was a scene that I remembered seeing in Fangoria magazine, or not Fangoria, Gorezone. Um, and I was like, I don't think I had seen this yet at that point in time. But then I saw it not very much long after I saw that, because back in those days, I would pour through Fangoria magazines and Gorezone magazines, and once my cousin Jim Bob, yes, I have a cousin named Jim Bob. His name's actually James Robert, but we always called him Jim Bob growing up. Y'all can call me a hick if you want, but Jim Bob always had the cool ass horror stuff, and he was really the one that introduced me to Fangorias and Gore Zones. And I was like, they have magazines with this stuff in it, you know. I wasn't in the know back then. But the first Gore Zone I ever bought or Dad bought for me was where I saw that particular scene with the arm grabbing Judy's leg. So unfortunately, now a lot of the people that were at the party are turned into demons now. And there's when they quickly show back up again the character of Suzanne, the demon Suzanne. So we've got just about 22 minutes left. That's the thing. When these are fun horror movies, I mean, this one isn't very long anyway, an hour and 29 minutes, just shy of that regular, hour and 30-minute mark. Um, but when they're good, and engaging and all that stuff, it wouldn't matter if they were 2 hours. That they seem to move quickly. Even when you're in the movie theater, you watch a good horror movie and it can be a little longer than average, but you don't feel it. Now, if it's a bad one, yeah, you're going to feel it all over the place. You not ready to come in yet? I may have to go out there and find him. Uh, that's going to be the end of the human Sal there, folks.
Take your phone. You turn on the flashlight for me.
Why don't you just if you turn on that big light out there, he'll show up. It's behind your Emmanuel box set. That'd probably be easier, Steve. Sorry, gang. When you got 5 dogs, well, I knew if you turn on that big light, you'd find him.
Okay.
Like I was saying, when you got 5 dogs in your house and various other animals, things are going to happen. And I'm sure the Sal Romero was a nod to George Romero. So, yeah, at this point, it's just Judy and Roger who are human now. Now, again, I want to remind everybody that's in here, we will have a 10 to 15-minute intermission after this movie is over. And, if you haven't already taken a break, I definitely have. You could use that to, you can run the restroom or whatever anytime you want to. But if you, want to ensure that you don't miss any of the movies if you're watching along, and want to keep up with me, then, then might be a good time to do that. Just like if you're at a drive-in or something and they have an intermission. I think the first one of these I didn't have it really a specified intermission time. And then I was like, I need that. I need an intermission time. So they found out now they're in a crematorium. And all the demons are trying to get in, unfortunately. Again, I would like to say that Steve Johnson did a fantastic, him and his crew did a fantastic job on the demon makeup. So we're just about to the final 10 minutes of the movie, where things usually, they've already started to kick into high gear, but it's where it's going to go into overdrive at this point. Remember that lighter? She couldn't get to light to, get it to light so she could light the candles. And now she's struggling to try to get this gas lit. And it worked. Zoe. Hi, Zoe. She's just looking at me and wagging her tail so fast, ain't you, girl? I have to pay attention to you, don't I? Oh, Dickhead J returns from the dead. I did want to take this time to thank the poet and others who have been in here with me tonight. It's not required that you be in the chat, but I've noticed people in and out of here. So I really appreciate it because I know there are other streams, more than likely better streams than I do, that are going on at the same time mine is. So I really appreciate those of you that have taken time out of your night to even come in here and see what's going on. Excuse me. So remember when I was saying pay attention when they were talking about the underground stream near the beginning of the film when they first get to Hull House. So the evil spirits the demons can't go over that wall. They can't cross it because the underground stream is there. But there's this barbed wire, and that's the only thing that they can grab hold of to get up on top of this wall. Uh-oh. So it looks like, it's game over for Judy at this point, but let's keep watching. Good old Rogers there again. And then the sun's coming up. So it's the next day now. It's no longer Halloween. Until that means that the demon's got to go to hell again. So there is Judy and Roger. I guess they walked back to the neighborhood. They look a little worse for wear there. And of course, the grumpy old man is out there getting his newspaper and calls them rotten pig trash. And hopes they all rot in hell. That's a vicious, grumpy old man. So, this final scene here, where we see the old man and the old woman, and she's going to give him a piece of pie and some coffee, and he's even grouchy to her. For those of you that want to put your thoughts in the chat at the end of this, I will tell you what I think, but I could be way off. I could be way off of what Kevin Tenney intended this to be. So she's made a homemade pie and homemade apple pie. Remember, he had those apples with the razor blades he was going to put in them. And she says, there weren't as many trick-or-treaters last night. And she said, I had to do something with those leftover apples. And then we see, unfortunately, his throat open up. But his wife doesn't really act upset, right? She's just like, oh, you know. And then she kind of kisses him on the back of the head and says, Happy Halloween, dear. So it was always my thought that his wife had somehow gotten possessed by a demon. Otherwise, why would, or she was just tired of him being a grumpy ass and she just killed him. It could be one of the two. But, if somebody wants to say what they think that means, that scene there, feel free. I'm going to let the credits run through this, and then we're going to have the intermission. And then when I come back, we're going to be watching, for those of you that want to hang around, Happy Hell Night. Ooh, excuse me. I really enjoyed watching this again. I enjoyed, the poet and Gory Tiger being in here and kind of keeping me company. And like I say, if you didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat, that's okay. I appreciate you coming in here and watching for however long you were able to watch. And like I say, I know there's other streams going on. More than likely, they're more interesting than mine. And that's not me trying to make anybody feel bad. That's just me knowing that, compared with some people's streams, my streams aren't that great. And most of the songs were written by Kevin Tenney's brother, Dennis Tenney. Not Stigmata Martyr, that was somebody else's song. And James Quinn, who played one of the store clerks near the beginning of the film when Linnea Quigley was all bent over, keeping them occupied while Angela was stealing stuff. He did the demon voices on this movie, but he also did demonic voices on Witchboard as well, and played a character in Witchboard. I think he's a pretty good friend of Kevin Tenney's. Okay. So I think we've officially reached the end. I think this is what's coming up now on mine is special features. So I am going to stop that, and I'm going to go into intermission time. And like I said, it'll be about 10 or 15 minutes of intermission. And then we're going to come back, or I'm going to come back. And those of you that are still sticking around, we can watch Happy Hell Night. And I'll be back in a few minutes.
Intermission time. Pick up some delicious hot buttered popcorn at our concession stand. Hamburgers, hot dogs, and nachos too. Plus an extra large ice cold soda to quench your thirst. It's intermission time. Intermission time. Pick up some delicious hot buttered popcorn at our concession stand. Hamburgers, hot dogs, and nachos too. Plus an extra large ice cold soda to quench your thirst. It's intermission time. Don't delay. Intermission time. Pick up some delicious hot buttered popcorn at our concession stand. Hamburgers, hot dogs, and nachos too. Plus an extra large ice cold soda to quench your thirst. It's intermission time. intermission time. Pick up some delicious hot buttered popcorn at our concession stand. Hamburgers, hot dogs, and nachos too. Plus an extra large ice cold soda to quench your thirst. It's intermission time. Don't delay.
All right, gang, I'm back. Sorry, it took me a little longer than I expected. I hope that you guys and gals weren't waiting around for me too long. We're going to get this movie started real shortly here, so I don't keep you guys and gals any longer than need be. But again, we're going to be watching Happy Hell Night. And I do have a link in the description for this live stream in case you don't own a copy of this. This is the Code Red version. And I'm very excited to be able to, share this movie with you guys and gals that want to watch along with it. Of course, you can go out on YouTube and you can search it out yourself as well. But I did look through like 2 or 3 different versions, and some of the versions, which it might not matter to some of you, had some of the nudity blurred out. And I like to, give people the unmessed with version, I don't like to hand them out an edited version, whether it's the nudity and sex that's edited out or the violence. So I tried to pick the one that didn't have anything edited out of it. All right, so I have mine queued up 12 seconds in on the Blu-ray. You've got this opens in a mental asylum. And these must be the worst of the worst patients because they pretty much have them in a dungeon. So you see a guy that's behind the bars. He doesn't look very good. This is very creepy opening. But like I said, this is about 12 seconds in on the Blu-ray. We haven't seen the title or anything just yet. And so I'm going to give everybody about a minute or so to get queued up if they're watching along. I mean, it's not a requirement for Evil Dead Chick Slasher Fest. It's not a requirement for the watch-alongs. But if you do want to watch, I try to help you get queued up at about the same spot that I am. So we'll give it a few more seconds or so here, and then we'll do the countdown and we'll get started here. And like I said earlier, this one's only 87 minutes long, so it's just shy of an hour and 30 minutes. So it's just shy of that 90-minute mark. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and do the countdown here, and we'll get started with Happy Hell Night. So 3, 2, 1, press play. We're off and running. And now we're seeing Bryson Entertainment, or Bryson Entertainment, however you pronounce it. And the first time I caught this movie was on satellite after. And Darren McGavin's in this in a few scenes, folks. So Kolchak himself. And the dad on A Christmas Story. But I caught this by chance on satellite after my family got a satellite dish. And we, of course, got the smaller ones. We never had one of the large original satellite dishes because we were always delayed in getting stuff like that. But that's okay. We weren't one of the first ones to get a VCR, and we weren't one of the first ones to get a satellite dish. And that guy looks like he's been banging his head against the wall once too many times. But I really liked it. I mean, it's low budget and it's kind of hokey in some places and stuff like that. And some people might say, what in the world is Darren McGavin doing in this movie? Some people might think he's slumming. He's not in it very much, but he plays one of the college kids' dads in it, or a couple of the college kids' dads. And I'm willing to bet that those are white rats that are dyed black, for those of you that are watching along, because they have the typical red eyes that you see on the white rats. I'm going to step over to the back door and let one of my dogs out. Darcy, you want to go? No? You want to go outside? Come on. Darcy. Probably saw a squirrel or a possum or something, I'm sure, out there. So you're getting a tip. If you're listening to this with the sound, you're getting a typical, you're getting a typical rundown on one of the patients. Apparently there aren't subtitles on this. I guess they were too cheap to put subtitles on. But I've seen this movie enough that I pretty much know the dialogue. And I don't know if Brian Owens ever done anything else, or even if that's a real name. Maybe that's a pseudonym. But anyway, I always liked this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Now, we're going back in time to 25 years ago, and you'll see the actor Sam Rockwell in this. And Sam Rockwell, of course, played Buffalo Bill. I think he was called Buffalo Bill in The Green Mile. And we're seeing that something really bad must have happened. That these college students must have gotten mixed up into something that they shouldn't have. And so the character that Sam Rockwell plays, which we're going to find out is the younger version of Darren McGavin's character. This priest is actually, he had come to the priest for help, and the priest is going into this family crypt, probably thinking, why in the heck were these kids in here? But they were doing some kind of ritual, and Zachary Malice, they refer to him as a depraved priest, rises from the dead and, evidently cut these college students up pretty badly. I mean, cut them up into little body parts, as you can see there. And there is Zachary Malice. Those eyes on that dude, I mean, that is some creepy shit there. And you'll see, if you are, listening to the dialogue in the comfort of your own home on this, you will see that he says no a lot, like no peace, no TV, no sex, No kidding, I think he says at one time. And now we're at Winfield College, where we're going to meet a lot of different characters here. So you got the guy there on the left who's got an obvious receding hairline. You know that we always have these people that look way older than they should be. Now I know nowadays anybody can go to college. You know, I even several years ago worked with a guy who was probably in his 70s, and he was going to college. He had went back to college. But these are supposed to be, you know, probably close to their 20s or in their 20s. And obviously, that guy on the left, you know, just like with Haunted Wing and other movies like this, you're going to see another guy who even looks even older than this guy here coming up. I don't know if this is just like a bar that's set up in one of the fraternity houses or what, but it's just kind of weird. So we're getting introduced to a couple of other characters, and one of the girls, this is her boyfriend here, that's over there by the dartboard in the white shirt that has the t-shirt that says delicious vinyl on it. She is cheating on him with his brother, which I'm like, okay. But they're trying to come up with something, a hazing thing for his brother Sonny and some other pledges to, well, actually, it's just that kind of nerdy guy that I said had a receding hairline. Him and Sonny are supposed to be initiated into the fraternity, but they got to do this hazing thing. But the guy that I told you looked older than that one guy is showing up on the TV screen now. And this guy has got like this big old mole on him that you will see later. I'm like, what the heck? And they call it Hell Night when the fraternity pledges are, you know, do their hazing. Here's that guy Barrett again. It looks like he should be somebody's sleazy dad. So Barrett is telling them that they can break into the asylum and find this Zachary Malice and get a picture of him, and that should be the hazing. And there's that big mole on his ear. I'm like, ew. Sorry, gang. I was looking at something. So this is Sunny and Liz, who's supposed to be dating Sunny's brother, is actually, like I said, having an affair with Sunny. And she tells him here that she can't do it anymore. She's got to break it off. But we're going to see in a few scenes later that there she is having sex with him again. And the boyfriend catches her. Well, he sees them messing around. So the sheriff shows up and says, they know that, you know, Barrett went and looked at some files, I believe at the some kind of government office, and he left without returning some of them, some confidential files. So Henry Collins, that's Darren McGavin's character, and also Sam Rockwell's character playing the young Henry Collins. I don't think you ever see that guy, that one guy again, the guy in the suit. There's Darren McGavin. And Steve's a huge fan of Kochak and Darren McGavin, but he's not a real big fan of this movie. So his son is asking Henry Collins, he's, what do you know about some fraternity brothers being killed? And there's Sam Rockwell again. And he has flashbacks. But he doesn't tell his son what's going on or what did go on. But he's obviously very disturbed by it. So this is coming up is going to be the scene where he discovers his girlfriend Liz is messing around with his brother. He sees Sonny's motorcycle at a motel, and he's like, "Geez, Sonny, you couldn't go a few more miles." And he looks in the window and sees something that he wished he hadn't saw. And I got a feeling that is not the actress playing Liz there, because it looks, when it showed the far shot, that looked like a wig. And then, of course, they had the close-up of the actress playing Liz. But maybe she didn't want to do any nudity, even like side boob nudity. And we're going to find out that Barrett has put hidden cameras all over the fraternity house, because the guys want to get video of them messing around with these girls. Guys, I hate to. I'm just going to go away for a little bit. I'm going to check on my dogs and stuff like that. And if y'all are watching along, please keep watching. And I will be back. Sorry, folks. I had to take care of some things real quick and all that good stuff. I hope those of you that have been watching along have enjoyed the movies thus far. So if you are watching along, you will see that Liz is talking to the priest that Henry Collins came to many, many years ago in the 60s. So when the priest finds out that Zachary Malice is out of the asylum, he's just absolutely terrified. So he's remembering back to when the young Henry Collins came and told him what had happened. And apparently the priest must perform some sort of exorcism on him. Apparently it didn't take. And meanwhile, they're partying back at the fraternity house, and it looks like the power went out. But good old Barrett has generators and stuff, so he's always prepared. If you were watching along earlier, you can see why, or you saw why Sonny is so upset now. Because one of his fellow pledges got his hand cut off by Zachary Malice, and then Zachary Malice escaped, of course. And apparently, this girl's into some kinky stuff. She asked him if he wants to try something different, and she's got handcuffs. Oops, drop the key, sweetie. Of course, I would never do something like that, handcuff myself to a bed or anything else. And this girl here is going to figure out that Barrett's got cameras hid around the fraternity house, and she sees it. But she doesn't care. She's going to, get naked anyway. And I think this chick is in the same sorority as Liz. And she's just basically baiting him because, not that I think that Liz told her to do this, but I think, sorority sisters, they stick together just like fraternity brothers. So she's not planning on sticking around. Well, that's the wrong thing to do. She says you didn't get laid, but you definitely got screwed. And then she puts the name of the sorority there. Got a funny feeling this is not going to end well for her. Because somebody's creeping around out there in the fog. Uh-oh. Ah, she's toast. I think he said no parking there. Uh-oh. Well, he made it in there fast, didn't he? Maybe more time was supposed to have passed. That is a big ass pizza that he has. I'm sorry for grunting so much. My throat's getting kind of scratchy again. I told you shouldn't have handcuffed yourself to the bed like that. That looks like a very uncomfortable position she put herself in anyway. And you can see that little tiny pickaxe is gone off the wall now. He likes cutting off hands a lot. We're about to get down to, excuse me, the last quarter of the movie. We're already almost an hour in. Oh, there's a dead guy there. And even if you weren't able to watch this tonight or watch all of it tonight, like I said, it's on YouTube. Preferably, though, I would suggest if you if you want to watch it the way it was intended to be watched, to find the versions where it's not blurring out stuff and things like that. Well, the priest is toast too, apparently. I'm sorry, folks, if I don't seem as engaging as I did earlier. I'd been seeing now my voice is getting ready to go. That probably means I've been talking too much. But I had been fighting a cold or sinus infection or something for about a week and a half. And today, earlier today, I felt a lot better and I felt pretty good when I started this, but now I'm not feeling so hot. So I think when I get off of here, and unfortunately, that I'll probably have to get off here fairly quickly after this is over and the credits have run. Going to take a hot shower and have some hot soup. Maybe there's a head in there. Not that y'all need to know that, but what I'm going to do afterwards. I also got to get a bunch of clothes out of the dryer too, which I'm not looking forward to. It's like Zachary Malice did a number on several people. And Sonny wants to kill Barrett because he's the one that set this all up. Guys and gals, I may have to go away again to try to get Darcy in. I hate to do that so close to the end of the movie. But, again, when you have 5 dogs and you have other animals in the house, this happens. It's kind of like having kids in the house. So I'll wait for this this kind of scare to get past. So apparently Liz's friend has had her throat slit and been sitting to a rocking chair. Well, actually, she had her head cut off because it just fell off. So, gang, I'll be right back, hopefully before this movie is over. Okay. So, in typical fashion or seeing, if you're watching along with me, that they can do a lot of things to Zachary Malice, but basically he's the undead. He's not undead as in he's a vampire or something, but that ritual 25 years ago brought him back from the dead, and now basically they can't kill him. Okay, so Henry Collins shows back up. He knows exactly what's going on because he was a part of this 25 years ago. And he's going to tell his sons the story. And of course, Barrett thinks he's going to cash in on this because remember, he's got the cameras all over the place. What a jerk this guy is. Now he ain't gonna be telling anybody anything anymore. And so he even says no STV, which was Barrett's little show he did. I mean, granted, there are some parts of this that make me laugh. And of course, just like Michael Myers, he's gone. Oh. So this book of calling, I think that they call it, they have to perform this ritual again, I guess, apparently to send Zachary Malice back to hell, maybe. So they're going to have to go back to the um, mausoleum where the Malice family is buried. Um, and supposedly Zachary Malice is going to go back there because they read some passages from this book. Well, now they have to go back there to send him back wherever he came from. So Sonny must think that this is Zachary Malice. Oh, and that's bad. And it's not. It's his dad, who was not dead yet, but he's probably going to be now. So, gang, if anybody's in here, we're down to the last 11 minutes or 10 minutes now, rather. So hopefully, if you didn't get to join me live tonight for Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest with Night of the Demons and Happy Hell Night, that you'll be able to watch this on the replay. That's why I try to stay on here and finish these up, even if nobody's in here at the time. Because I figure if I get them completed and people see that they're out there, they can, watch at their leisure, maybe. So when they did what they did at the mausoleum, I guess Zachary Mouse is going to be forced to go back. I always thought this is kind of funny, the way Sonny comes real fast riding that motorcycle down the steps. But it worked to get Zachary Malice, trapped by this, whatever this bear trap or whatever they got in there is. So, like I said, if you guys and gals miss this live, it'll be on YouTube. I mean, not the movie. You of course have to hunt up the movie yourself or click on the links that I've got in the description for this. And you could, always watch along at your leisure. Um, and watch the movie and listen to me talk about it. Sans me getting up and having to go do things. So, oh no, they left a scalpel around. So that's going to be bad because he's going to figure out a way to get out of that trap by cutting off his own arm. And now he's trapped Sonny. So apparently, Sonny's going to go to hell or wherever Malice is going because he's handcuffed to him. And he put the cross in Malice's chest. So the sheriff gives Liz Sonny's jacket. And we're going to get one more little, I don't really call it a jump scare, but a lot of movies did this. Because Liz is in the back of the ambulance. Uh-oh. And she tells him everything's going to be all right. And we see that Zachary Malice is in the ambulance driver's seat, and he says, "No problem," and smiles. And then we go into the credits roll, and the song Happy Hell Night is playing. And we see that Sam Rockwell did play the young Henry Collins. But I hope those of you that got to watch this along with me tonight for however long that you could, I want to thank you, guys and gals, if there were any gals here. The Poet and Gory Tiger, thank you for keeping me company in the chat tonight, so I wasn't just completely alone. And also want to thank those of you that will watch this on the replay. You are all important. And I appreciate you all, whether you watched it tonight or you watch it on the replay. Because, like I said, I know there are more streams going on, and a lot of them are more than likely more entertaining than my streams. And I don't say that with any kind of malice or jealousy or anything like that. I know what I know, and I know that my stuff is not nearly as entertaining as some people's stuff, and that's just how it is. But for those of you that hung around for any length of time, I do appreciate it. And again, for those of you that will watch this on the replay, I appreciate that as well. And Happy Hell Night was performed by the Slush Puppies. There was actually a song called Big Chunk of Fudge performed by the Dundrels. I never heard of any of these bands or singers. I think this was filmed in Canada because they keep mentioning Toronto. And this was a movie that came out in 1991. All right, gang. We have officially reached the end of Happy Hell Night. Again, I want to thank those of you that came in here at any given time, even if you weren't able to stay the whole time. Thank you to Poet. Thank you, Gory Tiger. Gore Freak 1970. If you were in here at any point in time, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you watch this on the replay, I thank you as well. And I'm going to call it a night, folks. So as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.